I prefer to think of the Sino-Russian relationship here as a force multiplier rather than a pseudo-alliance. Russia's security-oriented approaches, think weapons sales to Turkey and Algeria, military exercises, military cooperation agreement with Saudi Arabia, are not just different in scale from China's priorities. More importantly, they also augment China's economics-based influence in the Middle East, as underlined, for example, by the financing, construction, and provision of all manner of infrastructure, be they ports, airports, roads, power generation facilities, telecoms. This force multiplier relationship benefits China since it has little inclination to take on an overt security role in the Middle East. This also benefits Russia, which is sanctioned and hence financially constrained from taking on a larger economic role in the Middle East. For the US, the consequence of this force multiplier relationship is to increase the cost of great power competition, since it consistently has to address and take into account the behavior and interests of both China and Russia, instead of being laser focused on one or the other. How sustainable then is the Sino-Russia relationship, particularly in view of the current crisis in Ukraine? My reading is that the longer the war drags on and the higher the human and material toll on Ukraine and supply chains elsewhere, the more China may start to regard Russia as a force subtractor, not multiplier, in the Middle East. And I'm not just talking about security issues. With bread prices rising and uncertainties around wheat shipment, Russia and Ukraine, after all, are huge sources of wheat for the Middle East, the potential for social unrest here is high. Throw in increased food consumption during the upcoming Ramadan, plus skyrocketing fuel prices, and the picture begins to darken. We've already seen food-related protests in Sudan and Iraq. With many more nationals and investments across the Middle East, China will bear the brunt of any possible social and economic unrest. In this scenario, Russia then starts to look possibly like a force subtractor in the China-Russia relationship in the Middle East. For more about the China-Russia relationship in the Middle East, its objectives, modus operandi, similarities, and differences, do check out a new report I co-authored with Jonathan Fulton.